Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Bernardston Select Board meeting for Wednesday, August 21st. August 21st, 2024. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. Just for everybody's information, this meeting is being broadcast live on BNC TV and live streamed on YouTube. To find BNC TV on YouTube, go to youtube.com and search for Bernardston-Northfield Community Television. This meeting will be available for later viewing by following the link at thetownofbernardston.org. You can also watch channel 1075 in your Comcast dial in Bernardston. We'll start tonight with the warrants. I'll entertain a motion for the payroll warrant in the amount of $61,307.95.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion for the vendor warrant in the amount of $53,669.60.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll entertain a motion for the meeting minutes of the regular meeting, which was held on August 7th, 2024. Brian wasn't here at that one either, though, was he?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the 7th I
The
was.
7th you were here?
12th I was not.
Okay.
So moved.
Yep.
Second. Any discussion on those?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll bypass the next ones on there.
Right.
Calendar and announcements. Early in-person voting starts on Saturday, August 24th through Thursday, August 29th at the Town Hall. Check the town website for details. The last day to register for vote is Saturday, August 24th. Is the last day to register and vote for the state primary election. On August 26th is the vote by mail application deadline.
Yes.
Those all correct?
Right.
State primary election will be held on Tuesday, September 3rd from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Town Hall. The Town Hall will be closed on Monday, September 2nd in observance of Labor Day. Normal business hours will resume on Tuesday, September 3rd. The Assessor's Office will be closed from August 19th through August 30th and reopen at normal business hours on Tuesday, September 3rd. The new town website. A new town website will launch on Friday, September 13th, 2024. The Town of Bernardston is partnered with Civic Plus, a provider of integrated technology solutions exclusively for local governments. Some of the improved website features include a mobile optimized design that ensures citizens can easily navigate and interact with content from any desktop computer, smartphone, or tablet anytime, anywhere. An alert center functionality that will alert citizens with time-sensitive information. Calendar functionality allows citizens to stay informed about the scheduling of important local events, including public meetings, activities, community events, and other valuable opportunities for engagement. And residents will be able to easily pay bills and submit forms and applications. Once it is launched, residents can send their feedback and comments by clicking on Contact Us for the homepage. And just to say, Karen spent a tremendous amount of time getting that up, as well as department heads like Jen Stennis here and Chris that have worked very hard to get that going. Memorial dedication on Saturday, September 14th at 11 a.m. at the Cushman Park Veterans Memorial. The Veterans Memorial Committee will host an event in honor of the enhancements made to the current memorial at Cushman Park through their Veterans Heritage Grant Program. The enhancements include additional markers to recognize veterans who have served since the memorial was established, improve the visitor experience by the placement of benches, handicap access to a marker that does not currently afford access, and non-routine landscaping to further beautify the memorial. The grant of $14,443 was matched with $16,250 from the town's ARPA funds, and donations from several entities enabled the town to procure, inscribe, and install 2 new memorial markers and 3 benches. The markers can add up to 100 names to recognize those residents who served during the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts. If nobody's had an opportunity to see it yet, take a walk over there and check it out. The Vets Committee have done a wonderful job, and on the 14th of September, there's going to be a whole dedication program going on over there. It should be a pretty special day. Hazardous Waste Collection Day. A lot of announcements today.
I know. Sorry.
It's scheduled for Saturday, September 21st, 2024 at Greenfield Community College campus and Orange Transfer Station. Pre-registration is required by September 13th. Residents can access the event flyer and pre-registration link from the homepage and the town website. Open positions on town boards, committees, and commissions. You are invited to participate in the government of your community. Town residents who are interested in being considered for appointment to one of our town boards, committees, and commissions may do so by completing a volunteer to serve your town application. Volunteer applications are available on the town website, homepage, and at the information table in the foyer at Town Hall. At present, the open positions include one vacancy on the Conservation Commission, and I'm not going to read the
Yeah,
whole.
just go, yeah.
Currently one vacancy on the Finance Committee. Currently 2 vacancies on the Local Cultural Council. 2 vacancies on the Planning Board. And 1 school committee member. Town of Bernardston has 1 open elected position. Vacancy can be filled by a write-in at the upcoming November election for the PVRSD School Committee as a rep from Bernardston. Any citizens' concerns?
All right, Mr. DeGeorge, did you want to come forward? Come
Some
on
of
up
them
to
are
the
already
table.
on the agenda.
Yeah.
How you doing tonight? Yep, right there is perfect.
I better put my cheaters on here. I've been here before about the same basic problem, and it's about the lack of taking down trees on Bald Mountain Road. A lot of them are dead. They've been dead. In fact, one of them fell across the road yesterday. It was a birch tree, and for those of you that don't know it, birch trees don't seem to live very long. I knew that from hunting. They all fall, they're all pulpy. And I've expressed my safety concerns for people walking, riding bikes, whatever, and the fact that if any of these trees fall across the road and somebody's house is on fire up there, how the heck are the fire trucks gonna get up there? Huh? This has been addressed numerous times, sometimes at this meeting, to previous select boards. I've expressed it to the town manager, I've expressed it to Karen in the previous one. I've expressed it to the tree ward. I even took him in my truck up and down the road. I says, I'll drive, you write. I noted a lot of them because to use an expression, I seem to know them by heart. Okay? He spotted a few more, and I assume he wrote them down. Now, one would think that shortly thereafter this little trip, and I don't keep a log, had I known this was going to go on for 8-9 years, okay, I guess I would have. One would think that shortly thereafter he would have been up there taking trees down, wouldn't you think? Well, I guess safety is not a big concern in this town, and it certainly isn't with him, okay? And it irritates the crap out of me. It's kind of condescending and patronizing. If he thought that I was going to put my tail between my legs and run away, he's sadly mistaken. I think people should get good bang for their buck when they pay taxes. Agreed? Okay. I've talked to this young lady, Karen, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 times, 4 times maybe. And then I went to the town meeting, back in, was it May 29th? And looking at all the things and the monies that were already being spent, and you know, monies that the town was going to vote on to spend, like the fire truck and things like that. And I come upon the fact that this tree warden is a paid town employee. To say that I hit the roof would be an understatement, okay? I'm going, what are we paying this guy for? He doesn't do anything. And then I thought of this, why do we even have a tree warden in this town? Tell me why.
Here to listen to your concern.
Huh?
We're here to listen to your whole concern first.
So my thinking is that trees that need to be taken down, I don't know why the heck the DPW couldn't do it. When I lived in Greenfield, the DPW, because I knew this number because a friend of mine I worked with at the hospital and security worked there. It has 47 employees in the DPW, but it's a bigger town, and they have a tree warden. And I can understand that, the size of the town and so on. In this town of 2,100 and, what did you say, 3? 2 people, I find it hard to believe that the taxpayers are getting good bang for their buck, because there's tree services out there. If the DPW can't handle taking down a few trees, then you would call a tree service, like I saw Lewis out there 5 and 10 down the road this morning, or early this afternoon. And I have seen a tree warden up on our road, and they're taking trees down. But he's there for, I guess, when they're taking them down for the utility lines, precautionary, or whatever. And then I got thinking, why is he even there anyway? If it's a professional tree service, what do they need the tree warden there for? If you were having a tree taken down on you, it's your home, and a guy came up yesterday or a week ago, and you show him what tree or trees you want taken down, he marks them, or if it's the one and only tree that's bad you want down, I'm sure he can remember. I don't think you need to stay home from work to supervise him and his crew taking the tree down. It's redundant. And you call the professional tree service. And the key word here is professional. I don't know why. I mean, I did point it out, and I'll point it out again. The liability to this town, if something should happen, is going to be enormous. Okay? I would hate to see that happen, because a lot of things are preventable. A lot of people, I don't know why people do this, but they wait. They're not proactive. They're reactive. They wait till something happens, and then they say, oh, we better fix this. Well, if you listened to somebody or had the brains to think about it in the first place, then you wouldn't be doing a reactive thing. But when somebody like myself comes in here, and I don't know if other people have complained about this lack of tree service, I do not go running around town checking all the roads and see if there's a bunch of other trees that need to come down, but I assume there's some. We live basically in the woods here. I don't, when talking to Karen last time, a few weeks ago, a month ago maybe, she tells me that the tree warden is an elected official. And I was puzzled why that came about, and I don't know how long it's been an elected official.
A long time.
A long time. Well, I'll tell you something. I'm going to make a recommendation that it be dismissed, gone. Because if you're paying benefits...
There's no benefits paid to that position. It's extremely part-time.
Okay. But anyway, it's still money paid. I think that, I remember the exact thing, and I couldn't find the package I took from the town meeting. It was $11,000 something. Now, having tree service done, if you have to use a tree service, it's not going to be free, but at least you'll know it's done. And of course, stop this liability thing. I just don't, I don't see why, and I don't know who the heck what somebody was thinking, if it's been there for 10 years or 20 years, I don't know, long before I came on the scene, or you gentlemen. But the other thing I have, and I mentioned this to Karen last year, I happened to come up Country Club Road. I come home that way sometimes if I'm in Greenfield. And it came up the top, I think it turns into Eaton Trail at the town line. The road's all paved. Kind of like the way they do 91. But when they did Bald Mountain Road with all those taxpayers that are on that road, up to the extension, to the bridge, they did it the cheaper way, the tar and gravel thing. That didn't jive with me. There's about 4, 5, 6 houses down there, and I clocked it. I turned around, backed up, and put my trip meter on 0, and I think it was just shy of 1 mile. And that's a super wide road. I don't know why it's so wide. We have some of the narrowest roads that I've ever been on in this town. And if you would notice, any of you notice, you will see in your travels that there's a tree coming out and the road all of a sudden goes like this. So it makes the road even more narrow and more dangerous. Especially when we have snow, it makes all the roads more narrow.
Is that pretty much where you're at, the trees and the roads, or? You have
What's
more?
that?
You're pretty much done with trees and roads, or you have more?
The trees, yes. A lot of them are right on the very edge, so not hard to spot.
Yeah, not much different than any other street in the town.
Yeah. The other thing I have is Bald Mountain Road, because we're on 2 mountains. Mountain coming down here, and then when you get up there where the A-frame is, up in the thing, that pasture lake up there. You can see it from the
West
farm
Road
on
comes
Route 5 and 10. The road starts going, mountain's coming this way, and then the road starts going up. So there's a lot of water that comes off that mountain. And it's had some serious drainage problems. I've seen the DPW has been up there and they've been, I guess, addressing that. And I think Karen, I mentioned it to Karen, I think she said they're getting ready to pave it. Is that true?
The road, it wasn't the road you asked me about before, but I know that there's
We just paved Burke Flat.
Yeah, the state did
that?
We
that.
just paved Burke Flat.
Bird flat.
Yeah, they paved that yesterday morning.
Oh, they did the bridge?
Yes.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
I'll find out. Brian told me the paving schedule for this summer, and I will let you know what that is.
Well, then I get thinking about it. I guess everybody would like to live on a nice, smooth road, but I don't see anything wrong with it.
No, everything's prioritized.
Other than the edges of the road and the drainage, and I'm sure there's culverts and maybe they're clogged up and whatever. Like I said, if you go up there, every time I go up and down the road, I seem like to discover a new brook. There's a lot of water comes off that mountain.
Yep.
And I know it's probably, all that drainage is going down. I know when they built 91, they put lots of pipes that are going over the Fall River. That's where it's all going. So,
Well,
but it needs to be,
We'll pass these concerns on to both those departments. I know we've spoken to them before.
okay,
My
appreciate it.
My one comment's gonna be that it is a small town. There's many trees like that. Your road's not alone. We have a limited amount of funding. We prioritize the trees as best we can. Brad does an excellent job working with Eversource and their tree crews. That's probably why you saw him with an Eversource crew. To get extra trees done in this town that we don't have to pay any money to have taken down. Even some trees that are on the boundary that they normally wouldn't touch, he's able to do some negotiating and get them taken down. So it is a very limited budget. He's a very extremely part-time worker. $11,000 a year doesn't go very far. So we do the best we can do with what we have, but we will pass these concerns on to both of those department heads for you.
How many trees would you say?
What's that?
How many trees by your estimate?
I don't have a count.
6?
No, probably 2-3 dozen.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not an expert on trees, but when there's been no bark on these trees for a number of years, it's been dead for a while. And then, of course, the deader they are, or the longer they've been dead, the more chance they are of coming down. Not that these storms can take good ones down. Watch the news and you see some very good trees uprooted, gone. So I
Okay,
think we need to pay more attention to this.
we'll do the best we can do with that. Thanks for bringing it to our attention. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next up on appointments, Barbara Colleen, Chair of the Board of Health. Come on up, Barb. How are we doing tonight?
We're doing good. How are you doing?
We're doing well.
That's good. So I'm here for two things.
Yes.
Number one, the Board of Health would like approval for use of the town's attorney so that we can take a property, 91 Mountain Road, to housing court, and we can evict the occupants and secure the house and do whatever else needs to be done. We've gotten no response from them so far. They're flaunting
Yeah,
what they're doing up there, and
it's been a long battle there.
it's been a long battle, so it's time to get tough with them
Yep.
and let them know that
Yeah.
Bernardston won't approve of that.
I do think we understood that process as it was going through the public hearing and all the correspondence over the last 2 or 3 years, actually.
It's been a while, and things keep happening to that house. I think it's cursed,
Yeah, I know.
unfortunately.
From a fire to a truck going through it, it's all pretty unforeseen.
Yes, exactly.
I don't think we formally need to take a vote other than if Brian and I agree that it's okay to
Right,
engage town
'cause they-
council.
right.
I'm good with them engaging
Yeah.
town council.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so we'll
yes,
carry on
Karen
with
can
that.
help you do that if you
Yep.
need a
Super.
hand moving that on.
Thank you. And then the Franklin Regional Council of Governments has purchased 2 naloxone cabinets for each town that's in the COG. And Bernardston stands to get 2 cabinets in the next month.
Great.
And we would like to put them up someplace in Bernardston. We wondered, A, if you have any reason that you would not want us to do that, and B, if you have any suggestions about where you might like to see them put. These cabinets are all weather. They would be attached to a building or attached to some sort of a permanent thing, like a post in the ground. The COG will be supplying the naloxone to us free of charge. I think it's a government grant that has come through. And I will be checking them on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis to make sure that they're in there. It's not for people who are in an emergency situation so much as people might be able to just grab one and say, I'm taking this home because we might have a problem.
Right.
And so that's what it would be aimed at.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I know you reached out to both Chief Shedd and Chief Palmieri to get their
Right.
input on it.
Yeah.
I would defer to those two
Okay.
professionals to say where
Where
would be
they
the,
should be.
the best
Okay.
space for that.
Yeah.
Pete's around the corner, so I have to
Yeah, I
say
know, I
professional.
can see him. I'll catch him on my way out.
But I think it's a great idea, and it's a good service they're offering.
It is, and, free is great.
Right.
Free is always good.
And it doesn't sound like it's gonna take much administrative time on your part to
No,
to
the
deal
only
with it.
thing I'm a little concerned about is maybe a couple of 7th grade boys thinking they're going to be funny and taking the boxes out and just chucking them in the gutter. But we're not going to put that many in to start with until people get used to
And
seeing
hopefully if
it.
they're in more public places, that might discourage them a little bit from
Right.
doing that, but
Yeah, on the other hand, maybe you
Right.
don't want it to be too public because
that's true too.
you would like a little discretion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm good with going for that.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Appreciate the
Thank
work
you.
you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Nick. I'm not even going to say your last name. Valori.
Valor, you got it right.
East Coast
Come on
Renewables.
up.
Nick's here to talk about EV charging stations in the town of Bernardston. He's met with the Green Committee in town on one occasion, answered a ton of questions for us. The select board, we felt, would get some value out of them hearing a similar presentation so we can get some of our questions answered. I'm also on the Green Committee, so I've been through it before and asked some questions. Unfortunately, Ken couldn't be here tonight. He had some stuff going on, couldn't make it. He did have some questions. We're hoping he'll watch the video after and get the questions answered that anybody in the audience may ask. Jane, I know Jane Dutcher's on the Green Committee. Chris Wisk is on the Green Committee. And anybody in the audience has questions about EV, Nick might give a little talk first and then we can ask some questions about it. The floor's yours, sir.
So, the state of Massachusetts, in conjunction with National Grid and Eversource, have an incredible incentive going on that they're covering basically 97% of the cost to install level 3, which are the fast charging stations. To identify that is the Tesla superchargers, but we're not installing Tesla, okay? These charging stations are universal to all vehicles, so any EV person knows that if you charge your car on a level 2, it takes about 6 hours to charge. The superchargers that we're installing will take somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes, depending upon the size of your battery, how much of a charge you need, and quite frankly, the weather. Cold weather does slow down a charge. My company, East Coast Renewable, is willing to donate that said 3% to the town to install the charging stations. By doing so, the town will actually own and operate the charging stations 100%. The big factor on that is you'll be receiving 100% of the revenue that the charging stations generate. Obviously, when there's revenue, there are expenses. You will receive 100% of those expenses also, but also have received 100% of the profit. There's no profit share in what I'm doing. There are companies out there that do profit shares. If you want to do a profit share, I'm happy to do that with you, but I don't think it's really necessary. The cost that the town would incur once it's installed and operational would be the electric costs. The electric costs would be offset by what you charge somebody to charge the vehicle. The other two costs out there are optional costs. One is putting insurance on it. I recommend putting insurance on it because it is a very expensive piece of equipment there. The other one is an O&M policy. We actually donate the first year of the O&M policy. O&M is the maintenance agreement. That maintenance agreement covers, if anything breaks, the labor, okay? The equipment, whatever breaks, would have to be paid for, but let me back up. We actually also extend the factory warranty on the equipment from 2 years to 5 years. The maintenance agreement covers all the labor that would be incurred. So the first year we give you the maintenance agreement free. Our maintenance team or our installers will come out and service the charging stations twice a year. And they also monitor the charging stations. Why do they monitor them? It is 3-phase power going to these charging stations. So it's a lot of heat.
It's got some kick.
I have provided the town with a sample return on investment on the charging stations. The charging stations, my analogy is based upon 3 charging stations. The Energy Committee has decided to go with 2, which is a great opportunity. 2 charging stations allows 4 cars to charge at one point in time. Considering the average charge is about 15 minutes, 4 charges is sufficient. If you had 6 people charging a day, and if you set the prices based upon what I recommend, the town would make on 6 people charging a day for a year about an extra $10,000. Multiple of 12, you have 12 people charging per day, you'll get about 20,000. This is an opportunity for the town to have 3-phase power to the property right next door, have up-to-date charging stations, and an additional way to generate revenue. Not to mention draw more people to the town. whether they go to Antonio's or down the street to the candle place and the brewery, all different things that are gonna be able to generate more revenue and keep businesses alive. I don't think I fill out too much, but Brian, if you've gone through this,
Yeah, just to clear it up, one of the things that's included in this is Eversource obviously would be the big contributor that would drop a transformer on the site.
Yep.
That's all included in it, the installation of all that. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be done a day after we would sign a contract, but Eversource is getting some pressure by the state regulators to get these in somewhat quickly. So we don't believe we'd have to sit and wait a year like some things we have to wait for. This is the site that's next door to the existing fire station the Green Committee's looking at currently, the gravel parking lot. When we looked at putting a transformer in there for the fire station, if we built a new one there, and Tim, I'm looking at you, do you remember the dollar figure for the transformers in the $10,000 range to put it in over there? Is a number that sticks in my head back when we were talking about it. This would be installed free.
10,000 steps in my head too.
This infrastructure is all taken care of up front. There'd be no upfront costs to the town. We'd get a power bill. We've talked to Jane a little bit, who's also on the Green Committee. There would be a way to create a revolving fund. So the monies that we would generate through the credit card into the machine would go into a revolving fund, which would then pay the power bill. And also in the future years after the initial O&M contract expires, and we could choose to pick up the O&M cost, the hope is it would be paid for out of that. For 5 years, all the software costs are included in it. Literally, there's no external cost to us that's not going to be coming in some form of a payment to the town. And after 5 years, I know we had some concerns, we've heard similar presentations before as to what the removal price would be if we said, hey, this isn't working out. We would have 5 years worth of data to look at, literally at no cost to the town. If nobody plugged in, we wouldn't have a power bill,
but
except for the monthly charge.
you'd have a little bit of a power bill.
Right,
I just
'cause
want
it
to be, I
uses that.
apologize
Yep, no,
for
you're right.
interrupting, but
That's
I just want to make that very
Absolutely
clear.
right, for sure. So we don't expect that to be on the 91 corridor. We did reach out to the Franklin County Chamber of Commerce, and Jesse Dean provided some data to the town of Bernardston. The numbers are escaping my head right now, the numbers of vehicles that pass this town hall on a daily basis. Do you remember?
7,000.
7,000.
7,000 cars a day. And it was like 13,000 cars a day pass by on 91.
That's just going south, and then going north was 12,000.
And there's an app that's created as part of this that the town creates. It goes on to, and I forget the name of the service.
Plug share.
Plug Share. People that have electric cars have these apps in their phones, and if they're coming down Route 91 or traveling 5 and 10 or anywhere around here visiting a relative, they can go onto their app and it would tell them where the closest ones were, if the charging stations are being utilized or not currently, how many stations are there, so they would know, hey, if I pull off in Bernardston, which is 10 miles away, there's only one car there now and there's 4 plugs real time right now, and it would give them the direction to get there. So it does help draw some people. We tried to get some numbers out of the Council of Governments, Chamber of Commerce, if they had any way to extrapolate what kind of economic spinoff there may be to local businesses from EV charging stations. They didn't have any relevant data that they would hang their hat on. But as Jessie Dean, the executive director, said to me, and she owns electric vehicles, she said, I can tell you every time I plug in, I spend money where I am while my car is charging. And that's real dollars going locally, right next door. She said, I couldn't tell you if that's going to be $100 or $1 million. But people do walk to the businesses, and Antonio's is close, a Hillside is close, Marshall's is close, Sweet Lucy's is close. They're all right there. It helps all those spin-offs, I think. I mean, if you got a half an hour to charge your car, you go over to Sweet Lucy's, get a coffee and a Danish, you sit out front in a nice patio out front, you can still see your car. When it sends you that text, when your car is full and you have 10 minutes to unplug it or you get charged an additional fee, you're right there looking at it. You can walk right across the street and get your car moved. I mean,
And go back to Sweet Lucy's and
right,
have another pastry.
and buy a cake to go. I don't know, Jane and Chris, you have any input on anything else we talked about on some of those?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
I know, Nick, the one thing we noticed on this one that came more recently, when it talked about the 5-year software, it said not including transaction costs.
The transaction cost is like a credit card processing fee.
Gotcha.
So my numbers are all based on the sheet that I gave you.
Yep.
It's all factored into that. So if there's a 5 cent per kilowatt hour charge that the credit card processing charges, so my numbers are all factored in with that.
And I'm just going to ask you while you're sitting here, Lucy, have you ever had anybody ask you if, of an EV charger station in the area when they've come in or not?
I haven't worked the counter in a while, but
Okay.
I haven't. There's, I mean,
You definitely,
30% are electric vehicles in our driveway during the day.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any questions, Brian, or something
Nope.
you're thinking about?
No. You pretty much.
Go
So
ahead.
you said that we could have had 3 chargers, but you went with 2?
Yeah.
What about putting one at the school? I know a lot of teachers now, they're all having electric or hybrid cars. And if you're going to sports, easy way to plug your car in right there.
We did pass some of this on to Jordan to see if what he was thinking there. Yes, that is town-owned property there in that case. He hasn't had time to really look at much yet. He's going to, but so that might be an opportunity to do something like that. We were trying to think of places that are town-owned properties that were,
The school is actually leased to the district, so
Right.
I don't know that we could put one there right now.
but I have been talking to Jordan over there, the business manager, to see if it was even feasible.
So, if you don't mind.
Yep.
2 things. I just want to comment on one thing you had mentioned. The level 3 chargers currently only charge 100% electric vehicles. So a hybrid
Hybrid wouldn't do it?
wouldn't do
Okay.
it. So you do need a level 2 for a hybrid.
Okay.
Because there are teachers at school that have hybrids, and there's a bunch who have electrics.
Yeah,
That's why
so-
I bring it up.
The level 3s are the newest technology. At some point in time, hybrids, I would assume, would be able to charge to that, but right now, they just can't. The other thing I would like to make a mention on is even if the school or the town or whoever doesn't own the school it is leased, the current Eversource, part of the current Eversource terms and conditions, the charging stations have to be on site for 5 years and in working order, okay? So I would imagine if the lease with the town or with whoever owns the school is at least for 5 years left, there wouldn't be an issue putting these in. Furthermore, as far as removing them, there's no hazardous materials. They're 100% they're very expensive. I mean, very heavy. But you can just have a regular electrician take them apart and then just dispose of it.
Yeah, the cost to remove them if in the 5 years the data didn't support them. And that, because after 5 years, the town would incur the software costs, additional maintenance costs if need be. All the other things we were already doing, any repairs. But we'd have some good data to know if it's economically feasible or not to continue doing it, or we're better off to remove it.
A couple other aspects I'd just like to bring up. Clayton had mentioned at our meeting that when people know how good his pizza is, people are getting off the highway and he's seeing an increase in traffic. So being able to have these charging stations and different niceties here, it will get more people to come. Furthermore, like the woman you had spoken to, when I charge my car, unless it's dark out, I stay in my car, but outside of that, I do walk around and see what's around and spend money. So but that's, because I'm in my car long enough and just getting out and walking around is always a good thing.
Right. And the Green Committee felt that that location there, and it's okay to put them on a gravel lot. We checked into all that. With all of it's a nice walking area right there, even if you just went and hung out in the park. Went and got a coffee and came sat in the park. It's right there in that scene. You're still looking at your car. You can get to 4 or 5 different areas and still see your car. You can go into the library. I mean, there's things right here. You can walk over to the senior center if something's going on, check it out. I just think it would be a good draw for the community. And just to be clear with everybody, we're not gonna make any decisions tonight on this. Ken unexpectedly couldn't be here. I've had the presentation, but Ken and Brian hadn't. They've just got some of the documents in the last 24 or 48 hours. So they're gonna have to have a chance to read through it and kind of watch the video to see Nick's presentation before we did vote on recommending moving forward or not. Just to be clear on that with everybody. Have any questions, Karen?
No.
Anybody else out there have a question about EV charging in general, of how this, I mean, there's good citizens turnout tonight. If anybody did have questions, great to ask.
I guess I would have a question.
Sure.
After 5 years, they haven't been around that long, but is it typically just like a software upgrade as technology changes, or is there going to be like physical pieces that need to be swapped out, like adapters and things like that?
It's a great question. I'm going to give you the simpler answer, and then I'll have to take a deeper dive. The deeper dive is technology changes. Adapters will change, okay? Technology does change. So currently, the charging stations that we're putting on right now are 120 kW. Some of the car dealers are requiring 180 kW. However, the battery capability of the current electric vehicles cannot take on the power from 120 kW charging station. So, for example, I drive a Tesla. So if I charge my Tesla up at a Tesla charging station that's at 250 kW, the power goes to the battery up to 50%. Once it gets past 50%, it downgrades to about 130, and then to 100, and then so on. So in my opinion, 120 kW charger is all anybody needs. What further supports my statement is the car dealers are not happy that they're required to put at least one charger of 180 kW in. So as the technology adapts, which I think is going to be more of the battery adapting, opposed to the charging adapting. I think the quickness of the charge will get better. Now, if you have 120 kW, you're not just going to be able to upgrade it to 180. It's like having a car engine, right? If you have a 6-cylinder, you just can't upgrade it to a V8. Does it make sense?
Correct.
In the future, if this incentive goes away, which all incentives go away, as we talked with the solar incentives, we've gone from an SREC 1, SREC 2 to SMART, and we're at nothing right now. Getting rid of what you have is not wise. The cost of what you're getting right now for 2 chargers, all in, is upwards of $300,000. So if there's no incentive, the likelihood of getting a better charger is very unlikely. The state of Massachusetts is the only state, at least on the eastern seaboard, that has this incentive. National Grid in New York has a similar incentive, and it's $100,000 that a business or a municipality has to pay. Obviously, I can't donate over there, so I'm not out there.
Right.
Everybody else in New England, there is no incentive. So you guys are going to be getting something that is remarkable for the town, exposure, and potential revenue. When we talk about potential revenue, you guys can set the prices. If you follow my prices here, charge 50 cents, you get 45 cents. The electric price is right around 25 cents. You'll make 20 cents a kilowatt hour. But again, that's something you're going to be able to charge. You set the prices. In the event, go back to your question, in the event that the charges are a little bit quicker, the town just charges less to charge, so you have activity. I'm sure everybody here has gone to a gas station that was a little bit cheaper of gas, maybe drove a mile. So people will always use what you have.
It's true.
And it sounds great. So theoretically, just generically, like the one, just take it at the 120, 180 difference. In the future, you could possibly have one of the units be at 120, one be at 180, which is kind of like, just in generic terms, a gas pump, a diesel pump, to help support one version of an electric car, a newer version of an electric car. Because people aren't always going to be getting the latest, greatest. So if somebody got like a 10-year-old EV,
Yeah. Well, the 180 will still charge.
they both do. It just
downgrades.
It downgrades. It already balances itself for the heat. It's already doing all the compensation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in
there's
my
no need
opinion,
for any different one. I got you.
correct. But there will be a time that the adapter will need to change. So right now, Teslas have their own adapter, if you would, a plug. And supposedly there is talk that everything's going to be one adapter for all vehicles. But it's not there yet. 3 years from now, maybe it'll happen, and there'll be a cost to the town just to get the adapter. But my Tesla came with an adapter to go to non-Tesla chargers. Most cars have that adapter.
Great.
Two questions. What's the average rate that towns, cities charge to, like you said, 50 cents? And I'm not saying that we should charge more. I'm wondering what the average is. It 50 cents?
There's not many level 3s out there right now.
Okay.
Tesla currently is around 39 cents, but it only charges Teslas.
Oh.
The charging stations we're going to have, that we're installing, charge all vehicles. So you'll be able to charge a little bit of a premium. But before we talk about a premium, I want you to understand, prior to January of this year, Tesla throughout Massachusetts was somewhere between 40 and 50 cents a kilowatt hour. January, they dropped it right down to 37 cents, and they've since increased it to about 39 cents. So there's a need for 50 cents. And if you really think about the numbers and what it costs, if I was to fill up my Tesla right now, if I was to go home, I think my battery's at 35%. So I'm going to charge somewhere down the street. It'll probably cost me $25 to charge to go 300 miles. It's a lot cheaper than gas, you know. So it's, if you really compare everything, you're going to get a better price. Second question.
Oh, second question.
Sorry.
Yeah, I forgot what that was.
Got what it was.
That's okay.
Got out of your head.
So I think, I'll end it right here. This opportunity is really going to just enhance that property over there, both with three-phase power, running three-phase power there, getting the transformer, and having the level 3 charging stations.
Okay, now I remember what the question was,
Perfect.
because you mentioned three-phase power. Safety, three-phase power is no joke.
Correct.
Safety, like nobody can touch the prong. Do you remember when your mother always told you, don't do that?
Put your tongue.
Put your tongue on the 9-volt battery, whatever, right? That can't happen. I assume it can't happen. Otherwise, we'd have heard about all kinds of catastrophes.
Exactly. I think the answer to your question is anything can happen.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Anything can. I'm not going to be here and saying it can never happen. But level 3 charges have been around for, pick a number, 5 years, 4 years, whatever it is. Like you said, you would have heard about it.
Sure.
You know, you'll hear about the one electrical vehicle blowing up all over the news, but you'll never hear about the 10 combustion cars blowing up. You know, so if that happened, you would have heard about that.
And on
Or
the
the
in-
million electric vehicles that didn't blow up.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Oh,
We'll have insurance, we'll have insurance.
and on the install of this, on the parking lot side of the chargers, there are bollards that get put in as part of the install.
Correct.
I'm not going to say you can't drive a car into it, because as you're saying, anything's possible.
Yeah,
But-
Okay.
Okay, appreciate you coming back out, Nick.
Thank you. And last thing, I did send you guys the current terms and conditions
Okay.
of Eversource, so it might be something to digest.
Yep.
Right.
For Donna.
Yeah, just so you have it.
Yeah, we have it, it's in your book.
Yep.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank
Great.
you, appreciate it. It's a good Donna one,
Oh, right, oh, Donna to review
this
it.
contract.
Okay, I'll send it. You want me to send
Yeah,
it to
might
you?
as well.
Okay, I will do that.
Next up, Fire Station Building Committee. I think most of them around the corner. Jane, you're also on that. You should slide up here.
All right, fire station.
Yes.
All right,
Come on up, guys, girls, whoever's around the corner, I can't tell.
Ready?
Pay attention.
There's 5 of them, right? Or 6 of them?
What's that?
Push Peter out front. No?
He doesn't wanna.
He doesn't want him?
No. He wants somebody else to be the pincushion.
We just wanted to have the Fire Station Building Committee come to a select board meeting to be on TV just to talk about the progress being made at the station, and there's a lot of progress at the Raymond Garage that we're about to take over here in the next several months. Just to hear about a little update as to where you're at, where we stand. I know we talked about a lot of things when we were presenting it to the town. We've changed a few things for good reason, in my opinion, just so everybody knows we've changed a couple of things and why, so everybody can hear it. We're all on the same page. I don't know, Peter, if you want to mention how it's going so far?
It's great. Going
It's great. We were over there the other night. It does. It looks great. Really, you guys are making some good progress.
A lot of work has been done. The Raymonds have moved a lot of equipment out already. They've been working right along with the crews to do the renovations, so when they get space cleaned out where we can work, they start working. I think, somebody correct me wrong, most all the demolition inside the building has been done, and it's been restructured or studied or reorganized already.
You know, rough plumbing's all in the
Rough
areas.
plumbing is pretty near complete. We're ready for the electrician to come in and start do the rough electrical work.
And I know a couple of things we talked about the other day. I know as part of what we talked about at the town was painting the exterior of the building. And instead of piecemealing places where there's some damage to the exterior of the building, you're going to put new steel on the exterior of the building, which will make it, at the end of the day, a much nicer looking product than trying to fit in pieces of steel where it's dented to make it look better.
So having a newly painted dented piece.
Right, it'll be new sheet steel on the outside of the building is a fair statement, right? I know inside a lot of times we had talks about a propane boiler. Maybe just talk about the oil one that was there, that was just 2 years old.
Timmy, you want that one? Or?
Yeah, so Chris offered as part of this, he's got a heating oil unit that's a couple years old. Currently it burns waste oil, it's a clean burn unit. And he offered to leave it because it is pretty much a new unit. That being said, in order to use it, we would have to have it converted over to fuel oil, which was, we've already talked with the heating guy, and he said it's no problem to convert it. So, and it's already plumbed in, the stack's all in there and whatnot, so we thought it might be a valuable asset to keep. We do know that it is proven to be big enough to heat the building. So that was our thought, was to repurpose that and use it, since how it is pretty much a new unit.
Yeah, like I said, things like that are reasonable things to do. It's a 2-year-old unit. It makes sense. We just didn't want people to say, well, where's the new propane boiler that we talked about at some of the meetings? This is why we went the way we went.
Yeah, and that unit is one of the places that we'll be able to repurpose a little bit, so we can incur the extra cost of having the building, re-sided, versus just throwing the propane on it.
Yeah, which is a good trade-off, in my opinion, anyway. Do you have any comment about anything, Jane, or so far you're good? I don't think there was anything else. I mean, you have parts ordered for the exhaust system. I forget the real name of it. And we're hoping.
Do you have the dollar amount we spent, or he has spent so far on the lumber? And
yeah, it was like 10.6, 10.7 a day on just building materials though.
Yeah.
We came into a few surprises. Some of the sizes, some of the lumber we thought we had to have was quickly overruled, and so
It's pretty
Which-
rugged looking over there.
I think we could park a truck up on top of the building.
2x12s on 12 inches is pretty good. No, that's all it was for. We just wanted to come out so people knew that we were making a couple changes to what we had all talked about at meetings, but for good reason, good trade-offs, like keeping the oil burner, converting it to get the new sheet steel for exterior of the building. That's an awesome trade-off if you ask me. And there's been really no huge hiccups in the whole process. First of the year-ish, perhaps, to move in. That's a fair number, right? I mean, we're not gonna hold anybody anything, but.
That's what we're aiming for.
Right. That's a good number to shoot for. At least we got
And unfortunately, some of the work is not gonna be completed until he's completely out of there, so, I mean,
And understandable.
we can only push so far to where we can get to, but.
But from where he was to today, there's a lot of stuff moved out of that building.
Absolutely.
Ton of stuff. Anybody else have any questions?
No, when you say first of the year, that's when he'll be out, and then you'll be able to finish, or you're thinking you're gonna move in the first of the year?
We probably won't be moving in the first of the year, but like I said, there's a lot of the electrical work is not gonna be done until he gets his stuff all completely out of the way, and then it could be done, but it'd be higher man hours to keep changing and making things to work both ways until we get it done, so it's cheaper and more efficient to wait until he's completely done to completely do certain work and certain jobs in there, so.
Move in spring. I do have one other question.
Sure.
Have we started our negotiations with the state for markers that the fire department is there, maybe even a caution light?
To my knowledge, no.
I think
Unless
it's
Pete
time.
knows.
I have talked to the local level.
Yep.
And they said the signs, fire station ahead, that type of stuff is no problem. He was gonna pursue or find out who we had to talk to as far as having a flashing red light or something like that installed out there, so.
I mean, you see them, I don't see them in Massachusetts, unfortunately, but I
Right.
see them in other states on rural stations all the time.
But the signage, they said, should be no problem whatsoever. I mean, they've also talked about clearing back the brush further behind the guardrails and
It'll give you
stuff
a
like
view.
that to give a clearer, better view.
The state has to do that, or we can do it?
Well, the state said they would do it, or
Thank
if
you.
they want to do it, that's fine with us.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that's it, unless anybody else has any other questions. Thanks for what you guys are doing. These guys have done a tremendous amount of work over there. If anybody doesn't realize what's gone on in that building, both to acquire that building and get to the point we're at and the work that's going on now, that's this crew here in the fire department. We're just the pushing the papers around. They're doing the hard work. We've got the easy part. Town really is going to appreciate this when you guys are done, for sure. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Chris Wisk, you're up next with the grant approval.
All right. So what's first?
Chris is here representing the town clerk and the Green Committee tonight.
Okay, so first, the town clerk. I was made aware of a grant opportunity by other Mass town clerks, and it entails, it's $5,000, and it is for election security, whatever that means. So Karen efficiently hopped right on, applied, and we had an approval the next day, pending approval by you people. So now,
Amazing.
Yeah, I know it.
it's a real easy grant for $5,000. We need to spend the money by December 31st. It covers expenses that the town can't cover in regard to elections. And it's security. So my thought was to try to see if we can get security cameras for town hall.
Dropbox.
Yeah.
For the drop box,
sure.
maybe inside, or for the doors, and maybe even all 3 doors, all the entrances, so that we have some security here at this building. We already have security at the library, we have it at
Highway.
the senior center, the highway, the PD, and we're the ones that don't have any security at this point. So we thought it would be a good investment if we can get something that doesn't have any recurring charges. We have to look into that. I reached out today to the department heads, to Jen Reynolds, Peter Shed for the fire department too. I don't think they have security there at the fire department, but police department and the highway department and the library to see what service they use and what their costs are. So we'll see.
Can I just add the
You
shredding?
can-
The shredding.
The shredding, yes.
Go ahead.
So the other thing is, I have to store election materials for 22 months. And that's a lot. So all these ballots, everything, and I have to keep it in a secure place. And then it has to be shredded or taken when I can get rid of it. It has to be done in a secure way. So we want to use this grant also to cover my getting rid of the election materials from 2022.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
we can
idea.
use it that way, so.
Yeah.
So-
We'll pay for the shredding that we asked for a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So this will be our first grant with the new policy, right?
No, the policy hasn't been distributed yet.
Okay.
But
But
it
we'll
has-
follow it anyway.
Right, we're
'Cause
trying.
it's Chris.
Right.
It's easy.
Yes.
Be a good guinea pig.
Yes.
Okay, before you go on to the next part, for the Green Committee one,
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the grant agreement as written and the award of $5,000 from the Center for Tech and Civic Life for the public purpose of planning and operationalizing reliable and secure election administration in the town of Bernardston in 2024.
So moved. That
I'll
was a long.
second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we can sign whatever we have to sign.
I can sign it.
Yep.
I can sign it, so.
Now you can do the Green Committee one, if
Yes.
that's what your next thing is.
The Green Committee. So, did you get a breakdown, Brian?
I put them in their books.
Okay.
They're in their books.
So what we want to do is apply for the next
This one.
round to the Green Communities Grant for a total renovation or total retrofit, I should say, of the heating system at the senior center and Powers Institute. And what it would entail is removing the existing boiler, remove and dispose of the baseboard heaters, and remove and dispose of the cabinet heaters. They're going to be replaced with mini splits. And this also gives us an opportunity to include some heating and air conditioning in the museum area as well. Which right now, there's no heat, so they can't even be open in the winter time. And I think there's a problem with, preserving what's up there. It's important, really, to have, to preserve our history. So the total cost, now this is an old proposal from back in May 1st. I have since sent it back to Advanced Energy Group, who came in and did the proposal. They work with our contractor, who in this case, the proposal was done with Jamrog. They're approved through the state to be contractors for grants, for the Green Community Grant. The total cost at this point was $268,220. Mass Save heat pump program will give us incentives of $53,375, and which leaves us with $161,000, I believe it was.
Yep.
I'm sorry, $214,845. There is a 25% match, which, if my calculations are correct, is $53,711.25. In our Green Community Fund, we actually have $12,635 to reduce that 25% match down to $41,076.14. And the Green Communities Grant would pay $161,133.75. And these are just rough estimates. I mean,
Sure.
they can change based on when we apply for the grant too. So we feel that if the town only has to come up with $41,000, basically, to cover a $268,000 retrofit. We think that's a pretty good bang for our buck, quite honestly.
Yeah, just to add to that, the last time we had to change the glycol, which that system has in it, it was a $50,000 bill to change the glycol, which is, you're more of an expert than me, every 10 to 15 years you have to change the glycol-ish.
Should be seven.
Okay, more
7
frequent
to
than I'm
10
thinking.
at the high side.
Wow.
In the state of Massachusetts, glycol is considered hazardous waste. That's part of what drives that cost, so we would eliminate that for good, and part of this quote disposes of what's there now. Jane?
It's already 4 years since we changed the glycol,
Okay.
and it was just under 50,000.
So I would imagine in 3-4 years, it's gonna be more than
Right.
$50,000.
And I mean, it's a competitive grant, so there's a chance we don't get it. but-
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the bigger ask for us to approve is the Green Committee is looking for permission to use Capital Strategic to help them write this
Right.
grant, because this one will take a lot more oomph behind it because of the dollar value
Right, sure.
than locally we have the expertise for. We already have them on the books and budgeted money to pay for that through the town warrant. And they would do the grant oversight for a piece of this at the end to help us close it out.
Which also, they can include administrative fees in the grant
That's a good
to
point.
cover
Forgot
some
about
of their
that.
costs, hopefully. I mean, if we get the grant, I mean, it
Right.
might be a cost initially to have them apply, but then to administer and to take that.
And then we're gonna lean on Jane to work her magic to figure out where we're gonna get the $41,000.
I'm gonna guarantee your wages.
Okay,
She's gonna get it from the 60,000 we don't have to pay in 4 years to change the glycol.
that's
Yeah,
right,
there you
that's
go.
right.
There you go.
So I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I have some,
Yep.
well, actually, maybe the questions, the questions
Yeah.
would be for another time, I guess, wouldn't necessarily, because I don't think you'd know the answer to them. So.
I don't know, maybe,
But-
try it.
Worth a shot.
It's worth a shot.
If I don't know, I'll be honest.
Let me start by asking, is the senior center a community warming center should something catastrophic happen in town and people can go to the senior center, stay warm? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, and cool, or cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
We did that
I've
this
sat
summer.
there before to do
Yeah.
that.
Okay. I guess the question then comes down to more technical, which I don't think you're gonna know, but
Maybe Brian will.
but the
The power goes out?
well, I mean, there's the issue of power, which again, even with an oil boiler,
Right,
you're not
same
gonna have
thing.
it. But let's put
Yep.
the power aside for a second. Let's say it's 25 below zero, bitter cold. I don't think heat
Well,
pumps
they
are gonna-
still work, but they just don't work as efficiently.
very inefficiently. I don't think it's gonna give you the satisfaction.
So
Now,
then,
granted, it's very rare that we see any length of time at
Right.
25, but we might see a couple days here and there, but that's nothing, so, okay.
Definitely a question for those guys.
Yeah.
yeah.
My concern would be, it's a warming center, something catastrophic happens environmentally, people are flooding into the senior center, which will keep you warm anyway, because there's a lot of
Mm-hmm. Right.
people in there. But at,
So,
extremely cold
being a
temperature.
green community, our goal is to get rid of fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And that furnace that's in there right now is reaching end of life. Because
Oh, yeah.
they've been doing a lot of fixing, they've had a lot of repairs, a lot of leaks happening, from what I understand.
And the same with
And
the
so-
cooling system.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what I hope the technology is getting better
I would hope so.
Yeah.
on the mini splits. For the state
I
to
know that like
go
the
this direction.
hyperheat or max heat, they go by different names depending on the manufacturer.
Yep.
It's 100% down to -13. It's 80% down to -18.
Yeah.
And significantly drops thereafter.
But we're having a warming climate.
The word global warming.
Global
come out.
warming.
But we did discuss backup heat if there's no power. And I don't remember what the answer to that was.
No, the easy answer over there would be put a generator in through another grant.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
not just whether or not it's a warming center, which they don't always announce
Right.
that it's a warming center. It's rare that they announce a warming center. That could change in the future, of course. But when the power's off,
Nobody's.
there's no heat,
That's right.
and the pipes freeze. And that's what we need to be sure.
Well, I've always been a believer that if you're going to use town buildings like a senior center as your community warming or cooling center, all of those buildings should be equipped with backup generators.
Yep.
Whether it's this one, whether it's that one, a fire station, doesn't matter. They
Right.
should all
Yep.
have them. So,
Yep.
but anyway.
The new fire station.
But
will
that
have
only
that.
costs money, don't worry about it.
We usually get grants for those, especially at a senior center.
Yeah.
For generator,
Yeah.
as a warming, cooling center. We did use it for, how many days as a cooling center this summer?
3 days, that hot spell
Yeah.
we had.
Mm-hmm.
It was open normally anyway, for anyways,
Right.
on a couple of days. It was only one
But
day it
it-
was a holiday or whatever, right?
And Karen volunteered to staff it so it could be
We
open.
did, that's right.
We
I
appreciated
didn't
that.
even hear that it was open.
It was open that day on the
Yeah,
website.
it's on the website.
We put out a meeting too.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Now we'll entertain a motion to allow the Green Committee to engage the services of Capital Strategic Solutions to apply for the grant.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome.
So we can
Thank
get a hold
you.
of Blake and do that.
Right.
Perfect.
Thank
Anything
you very
else you
much.
had or not? You were done.
I hope I'm done.
Jen's patiently waiting and she's next on the
Yeah,
list.
thank you.
Jen, come on up. Finally, right?
It's okay.
The rec
I
commission
learned a lot
chair.
without you.
Bernardston Elementary School before and after school program update.
So we would like to change it, not to say before and after school program. We'd like to say it as a homework club.
A
Start
homework
with.
club?
Homework club. I talked to Randy, and saying it as a homework club, we don't have to have licensing. And we can only have it for 2 hours.
A day or
A
morning
day.
and afternoon?
Nope, just the afternoon. The morning wouldn't work. And we wouldn't have to have the EEC backing.
Okay. So it would look like the presentation you had before, dollars wise, and I know one of the
Right.
write-ups I saw mentioned something about 28 kids. Is that the right number? Might have been from Lucy's email maybe. Or was it yours? Is that the right number, 28?
Responded to the survey.
To the
Yeah.
survey?
So we would have it for 2 hours. Like, if there was a delay, like if the school was out early, then we wouldn't have it obviously either, because it's
So
with
it'd
our
be
policy.
a normal length school day,
Yeah.
7 hours, whatever it is
Right,
now.
so it'd go 3:15 to 5:15. And then the days that we have like early release, we wouldn't be able to do it.
And you couldn't do it in the morning either, right?
Nope. Brandy's and I have been emailing back and forth, and he gave me some like really good guidelines to look at and stuff, and he said as long as it's 2 hours, that's the max,
Okay.
so.
So some of the same questions I had before, if a kid gets hurt,
Then-
you would have to have a plan and Randy would approve that, or?
Yeah.
Similar
So
to what you do at
Similar to what we have now, and then if it was really severe, then we would just call 911 like we would do now. But like currently at camp, like we're all like CPR trained, bloodborne pathogen, like EPIs, we're all trained. So it'd be the same thing. We would try to have everybody who worked for us to be the same thing.
So the ages of this would cover what?
K through 6th, not preschool,
Not preschool, yeah, I know, that's a whole
That was-
different wonky
yeah.
thing there.
unfortunately.
Yeah, so at least, well, that's good Randy had that information.
Yeah.
Well, that changes it a lot for me anyway. That Randy backs it and it's a 2-hour thing, that's kind of a weird number.
Yeah, he said anything over that, then it becomes a camp, but you can't run a camp certain times of the year. There's this whole rules he went into details with me on.
And the afternoon is gonna be the more helpful for the families than the morning? I don't know that, I'm just asking.
More or less, yes. There's more people that attend the afternoons than the mornings, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's probably, pick the day, right? What's the better, morning or afternoon?
I mean, maybe in years to come, or maybe down the road, maybe there's a loophole we can find. We can try to make the morning work, but it doesn't look like it right now, unfortunately.
And I don't think it's gonna be a big deal, but we better get the sign off from Sarah, new principal?
Yes, definitely.
As a
I would
building
definitely
use
go
form?
through the same things like I do for when we use it for rec.
rec.
Same
Yeah.
exact protocols.
Yeah.
I would definitely follow those.
Then she would sign it up with the understanding that you'll be there these days. Now, those
Right.
times, the 5:15 affect basketball in the winter at all?
No, because a lot of times, if that's the case, then they would just get released anyways, and
Or you
they're,
could always go to the cafeteria, or
yeah.
there's
And they would
plenty of
just,
places to move to.
yeah. And, I mean, if we're doing the homework club, they would be there, and then they could go to free time afterwards and stuff, which would actually help a lot of the kids, because a lot of the kids don't have help at home, because parents honestly don't understand the math. So there's kind of a win-win there, calling it homework club, because we can help them with their homework.
And you staff it similarly unless you had 28 kids signed up.
Right.
Run the same thing, the month ahead they commit to whatever days they're gonna be
Right.
there.
And then we could start it, I was thinking if we started it maybe that first week in September. If I was to get everything, I want to send it to Randy to make sure everything looks good too, because I want his approval. Because working with him, it made it a lot easier this past summer, so.
You didn't have to try to get Sarah's sign off by then.
Right. So it'll take a little bit of time to get everything, all our ducks in a row.
Same thing though, rec will be responsible for cleaning like we
Absolutely.
always do.
Yep,
So it's a rec-sponsored homework club.
yes. We're a sponsored homework club, and we would help them with their homeworks and stuff, and then when they're done, then they could have free time of, different rec activities we would have. So.
Right.
Which then could lead into, here's some more sports for you to play, because, we have the new pickleball courts at the school.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it sounds like a good solution for the afternoons.
Of all the people that responded, was it the, I think you already just asked.
we had a lot of responses who really needed,
The afternoon more than the
yeah.
morning.
The morning was, how many, sorry, Lisa, do you remember?
There's at least 10,
10?
and that's like a crucial need, but, I mean,
And that's still a lot.
Take what you can get
like
right
they
now,
said,
right?
there is no support, so
Yeah.
it is what it is.
That's a lot for.
It is.
But
It's a lot, and maybe we can find a morning sport that can be hosted.
We used to do jump rope in the morning, back in the day.
Jump rope for heart, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Never know.
But start with this, see how
Yeah.
it goes, use it as a pilot program to prove that there is a need for it, and then go further.
Because the Y won't transport our kids back. Like, we went that route.
Yeah, I looked down that route too.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the school's looking into working for a plan for next FY, right?
Yeah, I think we'll probably take it to the school committee and then have the school
So
committee
this would be something
help
for
us with
maybe
it.
just this year.
And there is an opening from Bernardston for the school committee for somebody to sign up if you can convince some parent. I'm not saying you. Michelle's shaking her head yes.
Yeah,
That could help push that initiative through.
Right.
right,
It
yeah.
might be very beneficial. It'd have to be a write-in though, at this point.
That's
We
right.
put a sign at
Yeah.
the school, please write in so-and-so.
We'd have to ask the town clerk the official rules
The official rules are, they have to write in the name and address.
and address.
On the ballot in November.
So really, if you can convince somebody
What-
to
how
do
you spell your
it,
last
to
name?
get it through, I'm not saying you, I keep looking at Lucy, but
And you don't need that many people doing the writing.
Yeah.
There's only one person.
That's all it takes.
That's the writer, and that person will be.
Uh-oh.
that's all it takes. Of course, they have to accept it too. But,
True.
Wow,
so if we all write Lucy in, and she says no,
she wouldn't dare.
then the money stuff will go just like rec does. It'll funnel through rec,
Right.
just as it always has.
And we just got the new machine thing, so people probably going
Credit
forward
card.
can pay it online,
Yeah.
which would be a blessing.
I think that's going to be easier. I don't know what families think. That could be better for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your pleasure, sir?
I mean, I like it because obviously there's a need, and reading the emails, which I see there's printout of, but I was, yeah. there's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
need, clearly.
the state changed the rules, I don't know how many years ago, and so many of the home daycares, as Lucy
Yeah.
pointed out last time, went out because of that.
Yeah.
It was so, and unfortunately, if we called it a before school, and I keep wanting to call it preschool, before school and after school, it falls under those guidelines.
Right. So if you call it a club,
But I
then
like
there's
that.
different rules.
I
Yeah.
like that.
It'll be the first.
If you want to make a motion, we just have to support it, is really all we're doing.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll move
To let
that
the
we
rec
support the rec committee to pursue the homework club.
I'll second that. Any other discussion from anybody in the audience? Any other input?
I just want to say thank you for the support. It's like such a relief, at least, that there's some support in this town.
And I know we did look to the Y, look to the Y, Ken looked to the Y because he goes there all the time. I looked at other schools, what they were doing, and everything I saw are all school run.
Yeah, and I think the disappointing point is that whatever contracted company we went with wasn't a good fit, and there just wasn't this discussion
Right.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
And then since then, Gil Montague dropped them, same group.
Really?
So it's not, and they just found out yesterday.
But thank you for the town to, just the parents desperately.
So why wasn't this something, I guess that's a question for the school department, obviously, why this wouldn't have been addressed. If they were having a problem with that company, why wasn't it addressed, like you said, 6 months ago, or a year ago, or even
And I know some
3
families
weeks before they actually dropped the bomb?
It's a conversation to have with our school committee.
Yeah.
I don't
For
think
sure.
the school committee was aware of it either, so.
Right.
That was
That's
my
why
idea.
Michelle's here
Oh,
tonight.
Yeah, Michelle's here,
I
yeah.
wasn't aware of anything, I'm chair of the budget subcommittee, so
Yeah.
I wanted to
Thank
hear
you.
the parents' point of view.
Well, let me get the vote done before I forget. All
Oh,
those in
yeah.
favor?
Aye.
But
All right.
Thank you.
if something changes, if Randy finds some loophole that
Okay.
you can do 2 hours at 2 different times of the day
Right,
and call it the same thing to get around that
right,
state inspection process,
okay.
which is quite onerous if we had to do that.
Yeah,
As I
thank
think
you.
you found out in Greenfield
Oh.
when you went and talked to them.
It's not-
So will you come meet with me
Yes.
when you have everything set?
Yes, I'll probably.
And then I'll brief you guys that way kind of thing,
So,
or we'll see if she
yeah.
needs to come back, or,
I'll be in touch, like,
Okay.
sooner than later, like this
And you're
week.
gonna get the word out to the families of the schools. Is there an easy
Yeah,
way
how
for
do we
you to
wanna
do
do
that, or
I'm
just
gonna
like you all the chain?
I'll talk to Sarah and see how I can get it. Cause we're switching over from Class Dojo to something else, I forget what it's called now.
Parent Square.
Parent Square, so I think I can probably blast it onto that.
And there might be another district update coming out, and
And
I'm
that's
sure
on
the
the website.
superintendent.
Right, we'll have the
will
website.
blurb
Website.
Bernardston.
Right,
so that's why let's make sure our
And-
messaging's the same.
and we also have this, we have a kickoff to soccer on Saturday.
Spread the word
So
there,
I
yeah.
can spread the word there.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a huge event. The
Okay,
high school's
great.
coming down to help us out. And we have, I think, close to 90 kids registered for soccer.
What?
And the Jamboree is November 2nd.
Will there be a registration form back on the homework club?
Yes.
They'll fill out forms?
We'll fill out
and
form,
all that?
yes.
Okay.
Michelle,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
For blind parents, would blind children be?
Yes, because they go to Bernardston. So it's Bernardston and Leiden kids. If you go to elementary school there, then they're welcome to come.
Yeah, give me the information, I'll put it on the website.
Okay, oh, that's awesome, thank you.
and if you don't have Michelle's, you must have Michelle's.
I can
email
get it.
somewhere.
I can get it to her,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think everybody has Michelle's email. From one committee or another, right?
Yeah.
All right, great. That's
All
great
right.
news.
Thank you.
Thank you for,
All right, thank you.
I can't believe
Yeah.
you're taking on another thing, but thank you for.
It's for the town.
Right.
Everything for the town.
The whole thing, so
So,
thank you.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, nice.
Next one. MIAA, Unemployment Services
Yeah.
Program.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what did I say, MIAA?
Yeah.
MIIA, Unemployment Services Program. Earlier this month, Sean Harper, Account Executive for the Town Insurance Agency. Tyler can't hear anything.
Just hang on for a second.
Oh, wait one moment. I'll start again, Tyler.
Thank you for coming. All right.
Okay, we'll back up to new business. MIIA, Unemployment Services Program. Earlier this month, Sean Harper, Account Executive for the Town Insurance Agency, and we'll call it Maya,
Maya, yes.
came for a visit. Sean introduced the Maya Unemployment Services Program and asked if the town would be interested in service solely focused on unemployment services. Maya's Unemployment Services Program provides program participants with unemployment risks, risk management and training, unemployment claims management, benefit charge auditing, fraud detection, hearing representation, and streamlined payment processing. Maya manages the Unemployment Services Program in partnership with Unemployment Tax Management Corporation, providing claims management services and HR-related unemployment services. The USP service fee is based on the town's annual gross payroll. The approximate annual service fee for Bernardston is $166. Please note that the town has no history of any unemployment claims. This is here just for informational purposes to throw it out there. This is something I see Jane frantically taking notes on that would probably come up during budget season, just for discussion, whether the town continued down that path or not. And the approximate cost for that's just something that between the select board and the finance.
So if there's a claim, does the 166 go? Is there any additional charge when there's a claim contested?
Awesome question.
Because the statement that we've never had that happen is not correct.
Right. Yeah, we have had unemployment before. Very rarely though.
Yeah. But I could find that out.
Yeah.
But I believe it's all, they provide they handle it for you.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And we're not saying we need it. We're saying
Right.
this is just something they brought to our
Well, then I would be
attention.
interested in Susan and our treasurer's input,
Yep.
because that
Sure.
goes under her
That'd be another,
responsibility.
if you get a minute to ask her or
So
something.
Absolutely.
discuss with her.
She might have some history with that even.
So we'll table this and bring it back?
For sure.
All
I would
right.
recommend that. You good with that? Old business. Unregistered vehicles. On April 29th, 2024, the town voted to amend the unregistered motor vehicle bylaw, updating the penalty fee from $5 a day to $25 a day for each day of violation, commencing 10 days following date of receipt of written notice from the select board and naming the Bernardston Police Department as the enforcing persons. As required by law, whenever a town adopts or amends its general or zoning bylaws within 30 days of adjournment of town meeting, the town clerk is required to submit them to the Attorney General for review and approval. On May 31st, the unregistered vehicle bylaw, along with the tag sale and animal control bylaws, were sent to the Massachusetts Adjutant General Office for review and final approval. Assuming the packet is complete and additional information is not requested by the AG office, we can expect the review to be complete on or before August 29th. Upon approval by the AG's office, said bylaws will be enforceable. Whoever violates any provisions of these bylaws, the violation of which is subject to a specific penalty, may be penalized by a non-criminal disposition as provided in Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 21D. This is for informational purposes for anybody that might be watching, because ignorance is no excuse for the law if you don't know what's happening. But you would be notified. It wouldn't come on you unexpectedly. You'd know it was coming.
This kind of came up to, Ken had asked for this to be on the agenda. There were questions about unregistered vehicles in town. Why isn't the town doing anything? The new bylaw, yada,
Correct.
yada. So I just provided a history on where we're at with the approval of the bylaw. And that's the way forward once we get it back from the AG's office.
And believe it or not, for folks out there in TV land, we get a lot of complaints about
Right.
unregistered vehicles in this community. So that's what's driving this, to make it a little more enforceable.
And yes,
So give me that date again, it was submitted May 29th?
May
May
31st.
31st.
May 31st.
We're
Be
expecting-
over the 30 days.
Expecting it to come back on or before August 29th.
Correct.
And of course, you're at the AG's timeframe.
Well, if I remember the law correctly, they have to respond within 90 days.
They
or
do.
It's automatically accepted.
Could be.
So if we don't hear from them, that means it's yes. But they
Yes.
could tell us yes sooner than that.
Right. Or yes, if you change this word.
Right.
They've done that before.
Yeah.
Other business unknown time of posting. Planning board resignation. I will entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Shannon Wisman-Hoare as the co-chair of the planning board effective August 19th, 2024.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Another planning board resignation. I'll entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Ron Fulton as a member of the planning board effective August 20th, 2024.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Planning board chair appointment. I would entertain a motion to appoint Peter Nye as the planning board chair effective immediately. Planning board members are designated as a special municipal employee position. 2 sections of the conflict of interest law, sections 17 and 20, apply less restrictive. All other sections of the conflict of interest law which affect municipal employees apply to special municipal employees in the same way. So I'd entertain a motion to appoint Peter Nye as the planning board chair. He's currently the co-chair.
Isn't that a prerogative of the planning board to elect their own chair?
Usually is. That's why I was
Yeah.
surprised it was here.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
that might be just informational. No, it says entertain a motion.
Typically,
Do we need to go back and look at that? I can do that.
Yeah, typically
I
the-
think it was, yeah, I think that's my mistake. I assumed
Typically
because
appointed
there's
boards
2
do.
co-chairs, so because the other co-chair resigned, he would become the chair. So
Right.
that's my fault if I need, I'll go back
yeah,
and check
typically
that out.
those appointed committees like that, they
You got it.
they elect their
Okay,
own. Like
of
the
course.
finance
My
committee does the
apologies.
same.
All the committees elect their own chairs. Unless the bylaws state otherwise.
Right.
Alrighty.
Next one up, FY25 FRTA Advisory Board reappointment. I'll entertain a motion to reappoint Jennifer Reynolds as the FY25 Franklin Regional Transit Authority Advisory Board member from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, effective immediately.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
No?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Another letter of resignation. I'll entertain a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Camilla Thatcher, who wishes to terminate from the Assistant Town Clerk position effective December 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Second, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll send letters to all the folks that
Yes.
were on these
Yes.
committees and.
And we're gonna
Camilla.
shake off the job announcement for the assistant town
Yes.
clerk, all right?
Yes.
And start rolling, moving forward with that. So.
And we have the new
Yeah, the
approved job description.
description's
so
already
that's-
done, yep,
That's sweet, that's
So,
how it works,
yeah.
that's a good thing. Town Administrators Report.
all right. So at tab 1 in your binders, you'll see findings from the building inspections of Cushman Library and Bernardston Elementary School. You know, those are required by Massachusetts State Building Code to have those done. Cushman Library was inspected by the Franklin County Community Inspection Team on August 16th. And Bernardston Elementary School was inspected on August 14th, excuse me. And minor findings on both. They were all very similar. I think it's the year of the exit signs or the emergency, batteries being switched out, because that was basically those are the items that need to be fixed in both schools. The school had a couple other things, but nothing major. So, and re-inspections are set for September 18th. So, but there's copies of the reports in your book. Also in tab 2, you will see that we received a notice from the Cannabis Control Commission on August 20th, stating that the commission deemed the town of Bernardston's host community agreement as compliant. So, with all these changes and everything that's been going on, and we just had it redone with the lawyers. So we're in good shape. I thought it was good news.
Yeah, for sure.
And also I registered for the MMA, it's free, annual boot camp for new town administrators. It's in Sharon, Massachusetts. It's on September 18th, and it's from 9 to 3 or something. So I plan on attending that.
Great.
I thought it would be good since I have a lot to learn, and
We all do.
it's free. So,
Great.
and MMA's hosting it. We pay the dues, and so why not take
Yep.
advantage of that?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
So
Yeah.
that's all I have.
That's it. Do you have anything else you'd like to bring up tonight?
I do not.
I'm good as well. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.